Happy Saturday. It's Matt and Judge in Judge's Money Lab. We got our swag on. The hats came in, the tumblers came in, the pens came in, and there's more waiting for you when you get to the Attack and Conquer Bootcamp. But this email that you're getting today has a little bit of homework in it. And we felt it better if we shot a quick video to just explain it to you. The first thing you're going to get is an email from the Predictive Index Group. That's your personality test. It's only going to take 5 or 10 minutes. Take the test. It'll come back to us and we'll put it in your workbook so you have it when you arrive for the Attack and Conquer. The second piece of homework is a little bit more complicated. So
yeah, let's say, is there anything you want to add on the predictive index besides just taking it and what we're going to cover, or is it that simple?
You'll be amazed how simple it is and how it blows your mind when we go over it on day one at the Attack and Conquer Bootcamp. It's the first thing we start with, and we'll get into that about 8:30 in the morning. So you have to take that test prior, because we've got to collect it, we've got to put it in your workbook. Please do us a favor and do this homework.
Yeah, I've done it. Everybody on my team has done it. Same with Matt, his team. It took me literally, remember, I'm scaled with speed, so I went fast with it, but it took me 5 minutes or less. So plan max 10 minutes. Yeah. But I mean, get it and just focus, take action. I mean, a lot of things we're going to teach and talk about in this is how do you compress time? How do you do things now? Right? Why it's called Attack and Conquer Now. So when you get the predictive index test, take it now. Yeah. Okay, great.
By the way, the whole reason we're doing this video is because over coffee this morning, we're like, what are we waiting for Monday for? Let's just go shoot the video right now.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen. Okay, all right, guys. So in the other piece of the email, there's one attachment, and that attachment is going to be called Attack and Conquer Competitive Analysis Template. Now, this is probably going to take an hour plus. I would encourage at least an hour. This is the biggest homework piece and the most critical piece in order for us to really flesh out who you are, what you do, what proof do you have, why you can become the market leader, and what your niche is. So if we don't have a lot of good intel prior to this, you ever heard that term, bad data in, bad data out? Same sort of thing. Now, this is a super easy format. Use this several times. Matt and I put this together, and I want to walk everybody through it. So if you haven't downloaded it and you're watching this video, pause on the video, go download it, and let's open it. Okay, so it's a Word doc, and it has cells all in it, already pre-created, and all of those cells are editable. So literally just put your mouse clicker in there and delete, and then you can add and edit on your own. Now, the idea of the competitive analysis template is we want you to be looking at 3 different competitors and then yourself for self-reflection. Okay, the first one we want you to look at is who's the freaking aspirational one, right? Who's the biggest person, right? If you're thinking small, okay, to give you an example, let's say if I sold computers and I was a local player and I had created my own computer, my aspirational player may be Dell Computers or Apple, right? I want you to think big, right? Because we want to understand, what are the players doing? What are they saying? How are they positioning themselves? How are they dealing with the customer? All those things, okay? So think really big on that first one, which is aspirational. We've labeled it aspirational biggest competitor. Second one is, who's your number one freaking competitor? Right? I mean, who's
the thorn in your side?
Yeah, every time, whether that's you're knocking a door, you're having your salesperson call, you're responding to an RFP, you're constantly like, ugh, they just took one from me.
Newman.
Yeah, exactly. So who is that, right? You have that person, and if you don't know who that person is, we have bigger problems, right? Go figure out who that competitor is. Then who would be the close second competitor, right? Maybe you compete with them every now and then, or they're up and coming, or it's just somebody you aspire to be, but they're not a Apple or Dell yet, but they're a good regional size player, and you're starting to see them make some noise in the marketplace. Okay, and then the third one is you, right? When's the last time you've sat down for an hour and really looked at your website, looked at your marketing material, look at your positioning, look how you're selling, right? This is the time to do that.
What are the pros and cons of your business?
100%, okay? So that's the 4 we're gonna look at. And then just to always have this document, we're gonna talk about later, I encourage you every quarter to do this exercise. So it may take you an hour or two this first initial go round. It should take you 15, 20, 30 minutes if you do it every quarter and keep it updated.
And why that's important, Judge, is as economic factors change, your competitors change. Mm-hmm. So in my business right now, as trucking is beginning to slow, we're seeing the competitive nature pop up. These guys that were fat and happy for the last 5 years, they were under a rock. Guess what? They're starting to surface.
Oh, they are.
And they're starting to call again, and they're starting to get in our way a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so you have and we've got a nice little format here, right? Everything we do is simple and easy to use. So you literally put company name in the website, right? Why is that important? So you can go back and reference it, quickly click on the website and review them again. Okay, so we've broken it into sections here. And so the first section is value proposition. And there's a couple components to that value proposition. What do they do? Right? Find out, right? What are they saying? I mean, you know what they do. They're your competitor. How are they saying what they do? Right? What is the value proposition on their website, their marketing material, something that is articulating to the prospect what they do? The second is, who do they do it for? Right? Take a deep look at that competitor and go, you know what? Now that I really have looked at the competitor, I have a better understanding that they're dealing with much bigger players or much smaller players, or they're working within a niche vertical I never thought about. Like, how are they positioning who they do it for? It's freaking key, okay? So I know, let's say if you're a roofer, right? What's the competitor? Are they talking specifically about, we do commercial roofing for organizations that have, that are skyscrapers with 55 stories? That would be a strong who.
Yeah.
So dive into that, right? Do they have a niche? Right? Read through. I mean, our assumption is everyone knows what a niche is, right? I mean, a niche is an inch wide and a mile deep. It's getting very specialized in your level of expertise and going really deep in it, right? So look at how the competitors are talking about themselves. Are they in a niche? Do they feel like they're heading towards a niche? Is there an opportunity for them to be in one? Are they currently owning a niche? You need to know that, right? And why you need to know that is, imagine if they're really deep in a niche and you're going to compete against them in that niche and you're not deep in it, don't even freaking compete. You're going to lose the bid because they're that good in that niche. And Matt and I are going to get into that in the workshop. All right. Second one is, what proof do they have? Matt, you want to hit this one?
Yeah, so look, it's important. This proof of who you are and what you do to do the know, like, trust component of your customer journey is vital. So how long have they been in business? What testimonials do they have? Who are their primary customers that they're willing to show that and get testimonials from? Because let me tell you something, as you guys probably know, and Judge knows this better than anybody, it's not easy to get great testimonials from big name people. And if you go to the Attack & Conquer website, some of the testimonials that you and I have are for some pretty big names. That's a big ask from some people. And it's proof of concept that you actually have that relationship, right?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, other things, in that is reviews. Excuse me. Testimonials, reviews, years of business. Do they have a unique process? What proof do they have that they're evangelizing that's allowing them to be positioned as the market leader? So grab that proof. Look at everybody. What's so cool about this is you're going to find these opportunities of pockets of, oh my gosh, they're not talking about that. Oh, the reviews, they're saying they're amazing, but I'm looking at their Google reviews and the customers hate them. Right?
Or you might actually find in the review piece that you have more reviews than they do.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe you actually are doing something better than they are, and that gives you confidence and it fuels you to say, wait a minute, we're actually not as small as we thought we were, right? We're competing more with these guys than we thought we were.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so now you've done, just to recap, you've done an audit and some analysis on value proposition. You've also looked at proof points and elements. The third quadrant here is strengths. Okay, and how we define this is, what characteristics of the business give it an advantage over others? Okay, so, a strength as an example here could be they've got scale over you.
They have a piece of technology that you don't have. They have a portal that makes the customer it makes it easier for the customer to do business with them, and you guys are still faxing stuff or doing manual stuff.
Or they own a factory and they're making their own products while you're still having to source it, so they have an opportunity to beat you on price because they're building it in-house. They have a global sales organization and you don't, right? They have feet on the street in certain markets and you don't. What are the strengths? Okay, this is so key, because when we get into the strengths, you then understand where you need to become better, right? So dig it, deep into that. And the same thing, the next quadrant here is weakness. What characteristics of the business place that business at a disadvantage, right? I mean, so Matt's saying right now the economy could be one of the disadvantages for a big player.
For sure, absolutely. They could have massive overhead that you don't have, right? So they could be handicapped by that. I mean, in our world of equipment financing, when we did this many, many years ago, we realized that the big banks, the Wells Fargos, the GEs, the Bank of Americas, they didn't like financing used equipment. And so we began to say, well, why? Because when we finance used equipment, the credit's great, the customers know exactly what they're buying, and we can charge a little bit more for it. Why isn't Wells and GE? Guess what? We finance great credit customers who buy used equipment, and the big banks still don't do it, and our portfolio performs beautifully. It's the niche that we found by doing this exercise.
Absolutely. So where are they weak? Where are they vulnerable? Because we want to teach you how to freaking stomp on their throats. Okay, listen, there's a reason this thing's called Attack and Conquer. There's a freaking reason it has a skeleton with swords with a pirate patch and a dollar sign. If you're coming to this freaking event, you are a capitalist, you're wanting to make money, and we're not here to compete. We're here to dominate, baby.
Yeah. You want to get savage again, man. We got fat and happy over the last X number of years. Trust me, it is time to stomp on throats again.
Yeah, and when you are able to stomp on a throat and become savage, it's through diligence, it's through research, it's knowing the freaking competitor better than they know themselves.
Because, Judge, if you don't have this, and you don't have culture, and you don't have mission statement and core values, all stuff we're talking about, guess what? You're the biggest jerk in the office.
Yeah.
Right? But when you have all this stuff installed and you're just following the roadmap, everybody's on board and it's spinning at a higher pace.
Opportunities, okay? What are the elements that the business can exploit to its advantage? Again, this is for the lens of the competitors and yourself, right? What are those market opportunities? Bring them out to surface, right? I mean, maybe there is an economic factor that becomes an opportunity for one of your competitors. Maybe there's a geographic proximity location thing that becomes an opportunity. What are those things? Like, you've got to do some research. Google the competitor, right? Look at press releases. What's going on, right? Are they a publicly traded company? Go read the analysis reports. I mean, get deep on these customers.
Look, you should be giving this to your executive management team as well.
Absolutely.
This isn't like homework that you need to be stacking on your shoulders. If you're a larger organization, there are people in your organization that you should be giving it to. This should be going to your product department. This should be going to your operations department. It should be going to your sales manager. And you're collecting this back and bringing it to the organization as well.
Absolutely. We're sending this out 2+ weeks in advance for a reason. If you do this correctly and you take the time, everything else that we're going to implement, again, this isn't mindset stuff. We're going to implement your freaking plan. How do you become niche? We're going to show you the positioning on how to be savage, how to freaking stomp on people's throats. But we need this information, right? Go spend the time. This should be a high priority right now in the organization. We have to get better, and we get better through intelligence.
So we know we're taking 14, 15 minutes to do this video, but it hopefully helps make this exercise easier for you. Please don't be that one person that I have been many times, and I don't know if you've been, where I show up totally unprepared, and then I'm like, I didn't get to it, I have to do it. This is one of those exercises. We can do that with a lot of the other stuff, but this exercise, we really need you to do the homework.
100%. Okay, last, because we're the last quadrant, is what are the threats? Okay, so right now, what are threats for the competitor and yourself, right? Have some self-reflection, right? Are you competing somewhere right now you shouldn't be competing in?
Yeah.
Are you trying to do too much and it's a threat because you've diversified your P&L and you have, a lot of customer concentration maybe in an area that's a threat, or you're trying to be a jack of all trades and you're having to staff against that jack of all trades and you're having to sell against it and it's becoming a nightmare. What's the threat?
So true.
What's the threat?
Staffing against being a jack of all trades. That is such an important concept.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, my first business failed because of that. And I don't want to digress, but I will because I like to digress, I guess. Web design and development was the core, okay? People said, oh my God, you're really good at creative on these websites. Can you do me a logo? Well, hell yeah, I'll do a logo. Now I'm in the logo business. Hey, Judge, you're really good at copy.
Which means you need a graphic designer.
Which I had to hire a graphic designer, which was no problem because guess what? They were paying me at the time. Then, hey, Judge, man, you write copy really well. Could you do PR? Are you going to pay me? Yeah. Hell yeah, we'll do PR.
We're in the PR.
Now we're in the PR business, and guess what? Now I'm hiring a PR staff. All of a sudden, with a couple of these incremental projects that led me astray, my new threat was I just incrementally have new overhead, new space, new computers.
And no one's doing all of it.
New
They're
people.
only doing this.
Right. And all my salespeople now have to sell websites, logos, PR, etc. What's the threat?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the last piece here is it's about a page and a half, and it's really cool. Just all content here. You know, how to conduct a competitive assessment, setting up a competitive intelligence system. Right. We're going to teach you in this document how do you set up ongoing competitive intelligence. What's the framework? Remember, Matt and I give actionable freaking things. Right? How do you track it? We're going to give you resources to use, how to use technology to help get better. So I hope this video and this exercise helped. Please, please, please do the homework. Show up prepared. It's going to help you so much when we start to build a plan.
And it's going to help us know more about you so we can scale with speed in our ability to help you on site and build out the 12-month Attack and Conquer. So we appreciate you. We've also assigned Lauren in the organization. Her email and phone number is in this email. Please feel free to reach out to her. We've also put FAQs on the website. We've put a link in this email. It'll answer a lot of the logistical questions that you may have about times and locations and all that sort of stuff. And we'll see you, we're down to about 2 weeks.
Yeah, make it happen. Excited to see you guys.
Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.